In this video, I'm going to show you guys how you can salvage your Bunny Girl Senpai deck. I'm going to be going over some of the changes and help you guys navigate the new ban list, as Bunny Girl is one of the biggest casualties of this ban list. So stay tuned, guys. So before we begin, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications to stay up to date on the latest competitive trading card game content. So I want to talk about this deck's current state after the ban list, and I'm gonna be real with you. The only thing that this deck did suffer from is the ability to no longer triple my finish, but overall the deck is still pretty damn strong. So we had to do some minor tweaks with the list in order to kind of adjust to it. So the game plan, basically the gist of the game plan, is still pretty much the same, except now you have room to add in some off non-climax combo finishers to help support the closing of the game. So without further ado, we're going to go over some of the changes to this list. So we're going to start off with the level zeros. So there's a minor change from the previous video that I did with the level zeros. So we're going to start off with the main one. So we're still playing 4 copies of the vanilla Futaba. This is, since we still have Stakuta, we need to play this at 4, and it's just a good early 3k beat stick. Next, we still play 4 copies of the My Ricky. Like, it doesn't really change here, but now you have to actually make sure that you hit your memory targets. So you might actually be inclined, if you open one of the Mai's after attacking, just shoving into memory, because most of the time they're either going to hit this, they're going to try hit this to the bottom of your deck, send it to waiting room, or put it into stock or clock. So you might as well just, like, if you open up the Ricky, quickly shove it into memory so you can guarantee at least 1 or 2 cards into the memory. So we play 4 of it. What changed with this list is we're actually now cutting down the Kaide Brainstorm to 3. I think I was running 4 in the last list, and I decided to cut it down to 3 in order to fit room for other cards, because now you have to actually kind of speed through your deck and get to your resource, like your utility cards, to start shoving them into memory very quickly, and then making sure that you also monkey grip the 3/2 Mai's, or at least make sure that you get 2 3/2 Mai's into your hand by the time you're ready to close the game out. So this kind of loses out in the number of copies. So, and it's still consistent at 3, getting the Kaide Brainstorm to your hand. And then we're still playing 2 copies of the Graduate Mai Sakurajima, which is the free at level 2 top 2 check, add 1, and then send the rest to the waiting room. So it's a really nice deck speed and also utility card. But now we're playing 2 copies of the Futaba Fukajiro. So my reasoning for this is I need to be able to get into my level 1, get my level 1s to my hand, so I can either loop the level 1 climax combo or get to my Stakutas or the 1/0 my reverse bomb, so I can start like shoving things in, shoving those utility cards into memory in order to successfully be able to set up the 3/2 my kill combo very easily. So this helps you get the 2/1 events, the 2/2 backline, any level 1s that you need during the turn, and even if you do need to, your level 3s. And then we're playing 2 copies of the helmet Shoko. So this is a good beat stick that you can play early game, because it's a level 1 3k, which is pretty decent to play going first. And it's also just got you also play for the helmet, which is basically send this card and a card from your hand to the waiting room to salvage any character. So this gives us selectivity, and it just helps us filter our hand. And then lastly, for our level zeros, we play 1 copy of the My Salvager, level 0 Salvager. So it's just a on reverse pay 1, discard 1, shove this into memory, salvage a character. So we play it as a 1-of. And that's pretty much it for the level 0s. I decided to kind of play a very streamlined and focus on consistency. And it's been doing fine in testing. But I may adjust it a little bit more upon when I test further. So moving on to the level 1s, we play 4 copies of the My Climax combo. I've already discussed what she does in the last video, but just quickly, she's a top 3 check. You can add one card from them to your hand and then send the rest to waiting room. And then if the level 0 My Ricky is in memory, you get to twin drive, but the last card that you trigger gets sent to the waiting room. So you just mainly use this just to thin through your deck, as well as basically push for damage via the twin drive. So next we play 3 copies of the Stakuta. Normally I would play 4, but I wanted to make the deck a little bit more consistent, and I realized in testing, even though 4 would be great, it can sometimes be a brick if you don't have the Futaba in your hand. So I wanted to minimize the amount of bricks that I have in my hand with cards that I can actually use depending on the situation. So I decided to cut this down by 1 because I feel like 3 is more than enough to successfully loop it in order to basically shove the Futabas into stock to guarantee enough stock for yourself. And since we're no longer trying to triple we have a little bit of wiggle room to play more things, but I still think like moving forward I may try to bring this back up to 4, but right now 3 is just what I've been testing because of the tightness of space that we have with this list, sadly. And then I decided to drop the twin driver in favor of 2 of the drop search level 1 My bombs, because being able to just reverse a level 1 and then shove it to memory right away and be able to meet the 4 more cards with different names in memory is just that much important for this deck strategy. So I decided to focus on that instead of trying to take advantage of the stock management, because you can still manage your stock, but now we have to actually meet our memory goals more carefully. And the Stakutas already help us with stock management, as well as the twin drive mines do kind of help us build stock, because essentially we're not paying to twin drive, but rather just twin driving for free for damage. So we just needed more ways to consistently meet the My Icy Tail requirements easier. So I decided to play it at 2. That's it for the level 1s. For the level 2s, we still play 2 copies of the level assist My. It's basically your most important card because it helps set up the My finisher, as well as if you have 4 more other characters, it refunds itself when you play it. I'm still playing the 2-1 My because it can salvage either the level 1 or the level 3. I'm trying to double check. Is it only 1? Yeah, you get to choose either one. So like depending on the situation, you can play this, swing in, and then next turn put into memory to salvage whatever, to either salve it. Is it salvage or search? Just double checking. Search. So it allows you to dig for your pieces, and it's just precision hitting, and it allows you to have another name in memory. And then also you got to play the event. It's your free selective salvage, as well as your panic button refresh if you need to. So it's just such a good card. You got to play it as a 4-of. And even now with the My hit, you need to be able to make sure that you have your 2 My's plus whatever card you're going to use, either to close the game out or to dig out the climax. And I will explain that when we get to it. So now to the level 3s. I play 1 copy of the Koga Restand because I feel like this is one alternative finish path that we could go into if we have the climax in our hand already, because it's a free pay one pay two? Yeah, pay one, discard 2 characters, restand. So it allows you to push for damage really easily, especially if your opponent's compressed and you've already got rid of most of their climaxes with the my finisher. And I know I've heard that some builds in Japan either go with the trial deck finisher, which allows you to check for the climax, and it's an on reverse burn 4. Let me just double check. On reverse burn 5. But I decided to go or even the restander, but I decided to do kind of a middle ground where I'm playing 1 copy of this, and as well as 2 copies of the trial deck finisher, because I feel like depending on the scenario you're in, if you have the climax, it makes more sense to go into the Koga finisher. If you need to get your climax, you play the trial deck finisher as your last character to just get your climaxes to get that door to your hand. And it's actually just that much important. So that's why we're playing kind of like a split, because you want to be able to be open depending on the game state. And then lastly, we play 2 copies of the early play Kaede, and then our 2 copies of the my finisher. So the deck did overall lose consistency and being able to close out with 3 Mais, but the way you basically substitute that is just play more off finishers. And because you're playing 8 doors, you're gonna have an easier time getting the 3/2 Mais in your hand very often. And the only way you would not be successful in getting it is if you somehow get it buried in your stock or it's in your clock, but you should be fine in most cases. And if you properly sequence your plays and just vice script your 3/2 Mais, you should be fine in getting the finish off. But overall, the deck does go down in power scaling in terms of it being the best deck in the format. I am not sure. It's a possibility, but I cannot promise that. And it will will probably be on the ban list for quite some time, unless they somehow give us something more broken, since now that we have Rascal Does Not Dream of Santa Claus out in the anime out this season for this season's anime rotation. So we gotta wait and see. So I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, crack that like button, and don't forget to stay on point, guys. Peace out.